What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of The Breakdown. It's definitely been a while for me as far as, for those of you who are subscribed to me on YouTube. It's definitely been a while for me. But you can definitely catch me on Twitter. Just go to twitter.com. And my Twitter name is the exact same as it is on here. OKC Boy. I'm a lot more active on there lately. On Twitter than I have been on here, but I do plan to get back on here, very very soon. So what I want to talk about on this edition of The Breakdown. I want to talk about why the Miami Heat will lose to the Indiana Pacers this season in the playoffs. By all accounts, if everything goes the way that I think it's going to go, if everything goes the way that you guys think it's going to go, the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers will meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I said, I don't think there's any other teams that I don't see any teams beating Indiana before the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't see any teams beating Miami before the Eastern Conference Final. So, like I said, if everything goes the way, if everybody stays healthy, it's going to be Miami and Indiana in the Eastern Conference playoff finals for the right to go to the NBA Finals. Okay, so now with the Miami Heat, they've been to 3 straight NBA Finals, and they've been to 3 straight NBA Finals, and they're trying to make it 4 straight. And they have won the last 2 NBA championships. First of all, Miami is, whenever we get into late May, and into June, late May, because that's normally when the conference finals are. They're going to be worn out. I mean, like I said, they've been to 3 straight. They've been to 3 straight NBA Finals. 3 straight, and they're trying to make this 4 straight. And the playoffs, when the playoffs come around, the notch turns up a little bit. And my question is will Dwayne Wade's knee be able to hold up when the notch turns up a little bit? Like I said, Dwayne Wade, he was playing good last year when they won the 27 games in a row. Now, granted, they are resting him more, so his knee probably will hold up a little bit more because they are resting him more this season. But like I said, in the playoffs, the notch turns up a little bit. And last year, when the notch turned up just a little bit, Dwayne Wade wore down in the playoffs. Granted, they were still able to win, but to think that Miami's going to be able to do that again this year, I wouldn't bet house money on it. I wouldn't put my house on it. Now, also, like I said, the entire team, I mean, it's just very tough to go to 4 straight NBA Finals. I can't remember the last team that in my lifetime that has been to 4 straight NBA Finals. Now, granted, the Bulls and the Lakers, Jordan's Bulls teams went to 3 straight NBA Finals on 2 different occasions, so that they did three-peat on 2 different occasions. The Lakers with Kobe and Shaq in the early 2000s, they did go to 3 straight NBA Finals. The last team that I remember that I thought would make it to 4 straight NBA Finals was Kobe's Lakers with Gasol. In 2008, they had lost to the Celtics, came back the next 2 years, won it, and then of course they were trying to go for that three-peat, but of course go to 4 straight finals, and look at what happened to them. Now, I'm not saying that the Lakers are the Heat. I mean, those are 2 different discussions, 2 different teams, 2 different coaches, 2 different groups of players. But what I am saying is that the Miami Heat, they just, I just don't see them beating the Indiana Pacers this year. Granted, what you guys might want to say of things that have happened lately. The Miami Heat seem to be on a roll. Dwayne Wade's playing good, getting a little bit more minutes, playing well. And the Indiana Pacers have picked up Andrew Bynum, who I think, he will get some playing time during the playoffs. And they also made a trade, sent Danny Green to Danny Granger. my mistake. They sent Danny Granger to Indiana, and they got I can't think of the guy's name. It's slipping my mind. I know who they got, but Evan Turner, and so they were able to pick up. Evan Turner, which, like I said, we'll just have to see how that deal transpires. To me, in my theory of them beating the Miami Heat, I never actually considered Danny Granger into the mix. If he was into the mix, good. If not, not a big deal either. And like I said, we'll just have to see how the Evan Turner deal works out. Whether Evan Turner is able to help the team or not, that does not change my opinion on why they are going to beat the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, especially if they have home court advantage, which it looks like I said, I mean, the Heat aren't too far back as of right now when I'm making this podcast style video, but like I said, everybody goes through their slumps. I think people are jumping off the Indiana Pacers bandwagon just a little bit, just because, like I said, they're going through their slump right now. Everybody has like a slump at some point in the season. Everybody goes on a roll at some point during the season, and right now Miami's on a roll. Indiana's in a little bit of a slump. They're not quite as hot as they were at the beginning of the year. Now, this is the reason why I think that they are going to be able to beat the Miami Heat. Now, if you look at last year, the Pacers, by all accounts, in a lot of people's eyes, the Pacers should have won that series. The Pacers should have probably been, I mean, you can argue that, the Pacers should have been going back to Indiana up 2-0. If the coach, if Indiana's head coach has Hibbert in the game, I'm not saying LeBron James still can't make a shot. I mean, he's a great player, but with Hibbert in the game, I'm not so sure LeBron James gets all the way to the rim and gets a uncontested layup right at the end of the game. If anything, Hibbert fouls him and puts him on the line, and maybe they win it that way. But by all accounts, I mean, the Pacers had these guys beat. If you look at the two matchups they've played so far this season, the Pacers won in Indiana, and then they were winning the game the entire time in Miami. And then Miami made a comeback there right at the end of the game, something that Miami is capable of. But Indiana, for if you combine the minutes for both games, Indiana has held the lead for the majority of both of the games. Another reason why I think they're going to win is because, I just don't see Greg Oden getting a lot of playing time. I mean, he's gonna get some playing time to try to slow down Hibbert, but I just don't see Greg Oden getting. He's not going to get Roy Hibbert minutes. He's not going to be playing 25 to 30 minutes a game, and so while he's not on the floor, I see Hibbert being very effective against Miami as he always has been. And even when he is on the floor, Hibbert is still a bigger player than Greg Oden anyway. So, I just don't really see if the Greg Oden move is really going to turn out to be that much of a difference. The Pacers are they're a year seasoned. Last year was kind of their coming out party, and they almost beat Miami. And I feel like the Pacers are a much better team this year. They have much better role players, much better backups. Guys like Luis Scola, like I said, Evan Turner. Like I said, if Evan Turner can provide some type of spark off the bench. And with Miami, I mean, granted they've been on a roll, but I mean, Miami's a good team, but they're not better than they were last year. They're just not. I mean, if anything, they're the same. But, I know sports, and from year to year, teams generally are not the same. So, with that being said, Miami is not the same. They're not better than they were last year. They just aren't. I mean, they just aren't. They don't have Mike Miller, who would definitely provide something off of the bench. Norris Cole. From what I've seen, he hasn't really provided very much from them. And the Indiana Pacers, they're just a better team this year. Like I said, they have the better personnel. Up to this point in the season, they've just played a lot better this season than they have so far. They're just they look a lot better with the same guys, they look a lot better than they did last season. And with Miami, like I said, a lot is going to depend on Dwayne Wade's knees. But even if Dwayne Wade is Dwayne Wade, I mean, it's still going to be tough for the Heat to it's still going to be tough for the Heat to get out of there with a win, especially if Indiana has home court. And, the way that series has gone, I mean, if they can force Miami to 7 games when Miami has home court advantage, and granted, like I say, Indiana probably should have one game won. I mean, you can only anticipate of what Indiana will do this time with home court advantage. So, I mean, the matchups, I think, favor Indiana. I mean, like I said, you still have to deal with David West and Roy Hibbert down low. And then if David West or Roy Hibbert have to go out of the game, you've got somebody like Luis Scola coming in who can definitely provide you something off of the bench. So it's definitely, Miami has things that they can counteract. I mean, they do have Michael Beasley, which was definitely a pickup for them. He's got to get healthy. I don't believe I've seen him in the recent games. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't see the Miami Heat with everything that's against them this year. You have to rely on Dwayne Wade's knees. You have to hope that the team isn't worn out from these last 3 going on 4 seasons. Of making it to the NBA Finals, and and like I said, you've got a fresh Indiana team who doesn't have all that wear and tear on their body. Who gave Miami a run last year. Who I think is this Indiana team is better than last year's Indiana team. Miami is not quite as good as I don't know if they're quite as good as last year's Miami team. If anything, like I said, they're the same, but they're not better. And like I said, Indiana's just better. And with all those factors rolling in, it's just going to, if you're picking Miami here, you're going against the grain. And in life, when you go against the grain, 9 times out of 10, things just don't work out for you. So, just like I said, you guys, I definitely want you guys to leave your comments. Let me know what you think. But like I said, you're going against the grain here. If I had to put my money on it, I'm going to put my money on Indiana. Like I said, I probably won't. I'm not going to bet anybody on it. But if I had to put my money on it, I'd probably put my money on Indiana. Like I said, if both teams are healthy going into that series, I'll put my money on Indiana because Miami has more things riding against them. Like I said, this team they're trying to go to their 3rd straight NBA Finals. They are trying to. Dwayne Wade's knees have to be healthy. They're hoping that Greg Oden can slow down Hibbert, and like I said, we just don't know how that matchup's going to go. Well, we'll see over the next couple of games when they play. But Miami's hoping a lot of things go in their favor. Meanwhile, while Indiana, they've already got things in their favor. And like I said, they're just a much better team. So you guys leave your comments. Let me know what you think. And the Eastern Conference Finals should definitely be something to look forward to this year. Appreciate it. I'm out. And like I said, follow me on Twitter because I'm always talking sports on there.